It is pertinent to mention that a judgment from a federal high court in Abuja had already restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from releasing voters' registers to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. This judgment was meant to preserve the integrity of the electoral process and to ensure that no election could take place without due process. The judgment also restrained the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, from providing security for such a sham process. Yet, in typical fashion, Governor Fubara obtained a questionable court order to override this judgment, demonstrating his utter contempt for the judiciary and the rule of law. Hence, the involvement of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission in this illegitimate process raises serious concerns about the impartiality and independence of the electoral body. Rather than upholding the sanctity of the electoral process, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission has become a tool in Governor Fubara's hands to manipulate elections and install his loyalists in office. This flagrant abuse of power must be addressed if we are to preserve the integrity of future elections in Rivers State and Nigeria at large. Additionally, Governor Fubara's manipulation of the electoral process extended to the use of proxy parties to advance his political agenda. The so-called Action People's Party, APP, a relatively unknown political entity, conveniently won 22 out of 23 chairmanship seats in the Rivers State local government elections. This result, which defies all logic and understanding, is the culmination of a highly orchestrated and manipulated electoral process aimed at securing Governor Fubara's dominance over local government structures in the state. Moreover, it is important to emphasize that this election was conducted in the face of widespread protests from members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressive Congress, APC, as well as civil society organizations. These protests were not without reason. The election was held despite the refusal of the police to provide security, a decision that was based on the Federal High Court's ruling. The fact that Governor Fubara proceeded with the election in the absence of adequate security despite illegal rulings demonstrates his determination to override democratic norms and procedures at all costs. It is therefore heartbreaking that despite all these glaring irregularities, the state government and Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission have boldly declared the election to be smooth, safe, free, fair, credible, transparent, and violence-free. This blatant attempt to legitimize a boycotted and illegal election is not only an insult to the people of Rivers State, but also an assault on the intelligence of all Nigerians. Democracy cannot flourish where the truth is suppressed, and electoral fraud is glorified as democratic success. Evidently, Governor Fubara's actions are not those of a democratic leader, but of an autocrat intent on consolidating power at the expense of the people's will. Democracy is our collective asset, and its growth and progress are dependent on a government's commitment to upholding the rule of law and pursuing the interests of peace and justice at all times. Unfortunately, Governor Fubara is running an oligarchic type of government in Rivers State, as opposed to the democratic governance that the people deserve and fought for. This is not democracy that we envision for Nigeria. Furthermore, the Center for Truth and Justice calls on all relevant authorities, including the National Assembly, the judiciary, and the international community, to urgently intervene in the situation in Rivers State. The abuse of power by Governor Fubara and his enablers must not go unchecked. The rule of law must be restored, and the democratic rights of the people of Rivers State must be protected. If left unchallenged, the actions of Governor Fubara will set a dangerous precedent for other state governors to follow, leading to the complete erosion of democratic governance in Nigeria. Moreover, the Center for Truth and Justice urges the judiciary to revisit the sham court orders that have enabled Governor Fubara's illegal actions. It is imperative that the courts restore their integrity by ensuring that justice is served and that Governor Fubara is held accountable for his actions. The judiciary must stand firm as the last bastion of hope for the oppressed and the disenfranchised in Rivers State and across the nation. Additionally, we call on Nigerians to remain vigilant in the face of these growing threats to our democracy. Democracy is something we must actively protect and defend. The people of Rivers State must not allow themselves to be cowed by Governor Fubara's tactics of intimidation and repression. We must all stand together in demanding accountability, transparency, and respect for the rule of law. In conclusion, the Center for Truth and Justice remains steadfast in its commitment to promoting democracy, human rights, and the rule of law in Nigeria. We will continue to speak out against injustice and hold those in power accountable for their actions. Fubara must be called to order immediately, and the democratic rights of the people of Rivers State must be restored. We will not rest until justice prevails and democracy is fully restored in Rivers State. Finally, we, the Center for Truth and Justice, urge all Nigerians to reflect on the events in Rivers State and recognize the importance of safeguarding our democracy from those who seek to undermine it for their selfish gains. The future of our nation depends on our collective resolve to defend the principles of justice, fairness, and accountability. Let us all stand united in this fight for democracy and ensure that the actions of Governor Fubara and his enablers are not allowed to destroy the democratic process we have made as a nation. The labor of our heroes past must never be in vain. Thank you.
There are pictures on social media confirming that they were
bedroom. Yes. Yes. There was no election in university.
So that means it's not even part for your.
As you can see, there was court order that the election should not go.
Yeah.
So people were at home. So he just wrote the
result and
the
announced.
result inside his bedroom.
It was
And
announced.
announced it.
INEC official announced. Are you saying that the INEC official are working in collaboration with
Those people you saw there are not INEC officials. They are his siblings. That is just his family members that announced the results. Mr. Sam.
some
Sam Chooks.